Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra Kane. I'm sitting here with Donovan, a recovering Democrat Saadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. It is the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, I'd like to say a big giant thank you to my moderators for all that you do in holding down the comment section so far. I see Sister Shirley, African Native. How you doing, Doug? What's going on with you? Today, we're going to be talking about, should Black Americans enlist to help the country fight in the Middle Eastern War? Of course, I will give you all the details as I know it as we go. But Donovan, what say you?
What say me? I got this cat in my lap and I forgot at 4 o'clock I have an appointment to get him to the vet. So we'll do it like that. But welcome to the show, you guys. This is a very interesting topic. It's a no-brainer for me. But do us a favor. We have a scrolling banner at the bottom there if you guys want to continue to have these great conversations. It does take time and effort to put these things together. There's where you can donate: Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Cash, money order, however you guys want to do it. Also, do not forget the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. And also, and I'm very sure Demetra is going to do it as soon as I get done, don't forget the African Diaspora News Channel crew will be in Columbus, Ohio, May 23rd. And that's a Saturday. So if you want to see the Demetra K, you can go there and ask questions, confront her in the name of Donovan and manhood, and you can do that. And they're going to be doing that also. I identify as a problem. Right. We know that. Also, don't forget the African Diaspora News Channel crew will be partnering with their travel people, and this year they will be going to Brazil. So if you are interested in going to Brazil, there's a way you could connect with that. And then don't forget the ADNC Narrative Power Summit with Demetra K, Brother Phil Scott, and a whole bunch of people. That's going to be on Saturday, July 25th, 2026. Get your tickets in advance from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. and they will be, having a great conversation, I'm very sure, question and answers afterwards, and a great panel discussion of what is going on in the diaspora. So take a look at that.
Absolutely. And thank you, Donovan. I didn't forget, but I listen, okay, I be all over the place. So yeah, there's no excuse, but thank you for making those announcements again. If y'all want to come see us, please get your tickets so we can say hello. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. I don't know, maybe you live under a rock or something like that, but there is a brouhaha going on in the Middle East. Some people say it's a conflict. Some people say it's a war. It just depends on who you ask. Donald Trump also said it was a war and things like that. Iran definitely said they was in a war, right? But anyway, I'm going to read y'all the overview so that we can all be up to speed, because things are changing by the moment. So basically, a major conflict has erupted between Iran on one side and the joint United States-Israel military effort on the other. The hostilities escalated sharply beginning February 28, 2026, when U.S. and Israeli forces launched a coordinated strike inside of Iran's targeting military and leadership sites. Iranian forces have since retaliated with missiles and drone attacks on Israel and United States positions across the Middle East. Now, the situation started with a coordinated joint military assault by Israel and the United States on Iran, codenamed by analysts as a major offensive aiming at crippling Iranian leadership and military infrastructure, including the assassination of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Okay, now the Iranian government confirmed his death following the strikes. So they took out and he's been there since 1979. Okay, so they took him out. But before they took him out, he was seen saying, hey, it is what it is. If I got to go up yonder for whatever it is we got to do, we gonna do it. He's up yonder, down below, whatever. Anyway, so Iran has launched waves of missiles and drones not only toward Israel, but also at U.S. military bases and targets in the Gulf region. The conflict is expanding beyond Iran and Israel. Groups allied with Iran, such as Hezbollah, have launched strikes against Lebanon toward Israel, prompting further Israeli bombing in Beirut and southern Lebanon. Okay, now we're going to get into some unfortunate news as far as the casualties are concerned. Iran says Iranian state media and humanitarian organizations report hundreds of Iranian casualties, including at least 201 confirmed killed and 747 wounded from strikes across multiple provinces, including a deadly attack that hit a school in southern Iran, which was mostly girls, from what I understood. Right, it was like one of the first bombs that dropped. Now, in addition to senior Iranian military commanders and officials, including Khamenei, were reported killed in initial strikes. Now, the United States military has confirmed 3, I think it's 6 or so at this point, service members killed and several more wounded in the conflict, marking the first American combat deaths in this war. Now, I saw photos of those that had their lives taken from them, and they were Black, but I haven't confirmed it, but I've seen it going around, and those soldiers seem to be Black. Okay, I just want to put that out there. No confirmation, but from what I saw. Now, as far as Israel, it says at least 9 fatalities in Israel have been reported from Iranian attacks and broader engagements, including from Iranian forces and Hezbollah proxies, with additional injuries and infrastructural damage in Israel and neighboring states. Now, casualties and damage in Lebanon and other region fronts are also emerging as the fight spills over. So this is spreading throughout the Middle East, okay? Now, Iran's actions have disrupted the shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, says causing at least 1 seafarer death and damage to multiple tankers as maritime traffic is effectively halted. So anything going in and out of that water, not so much. A lot of airports like Dubai and some other places, if you're trapped, right? Now, let's see here. It says position and rhetoric. President Donald Trump has publicly framed the conflict as necessary to neutralize what he describes as a direct threat to U.S. and allied security, including the risk of Iranian nuclear armament. So they was basically saying, oh, Iran is getting their nuclear weapons back up and running. But again, last year they said they had totally destroyed their nuclear power. But so y'all get where I'm going with that. Trump has said the military campaign will continue. This is a quote. Until all of our objectives are achieved, and possibly last 4 weeks, or it could last rather 4 weeks or less. While warning that more U.S. casualties are possible. So Trump did say that, it is what it is, okay? Now, Trump administration statements emphasize destroying Iran's missile and military infrastructure and promoting conditions that might lead to regime change in Tehran. So that's what Trump was telling the people. Hey, this may be your last time for generations to take over your government. That's what he was saying after they initially struck. But that hasn't happened. Iran says, oh, we who banging? Okay, well, it's our time to do a drive-by. Anyway, now Trump has offered praises for the United States and Israeli operations and called on Iranian security forces to abandon their leadership and surrender. They haven't done that, okay? Now, Israeli leaders, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has stated that Israeli strikes will intensify, framing them as defensive and aimed at eliminating threats posed by Iran's military capabilities. Hold on. Excuse me, y'all. I'm doing Ramadan and my throat is dry. My throat is dry. I'm almost done, though. It's not funny, but it is. Okay. All right. Israel declared a state of emergency, has mobilized reservists amid the conflict, emphasizing readiness for an extended confrontation. Lastly, well, not lastly, but the Israeli Defense IDF has announced continued bombing campaigns targeting Iranian military targets and has engaged Hezbollah positions in Lebanon. So it's a hot mess over there. I'll say that. I can't drink it, but thank you. I'm okay. Thank you. So as far as the Iranian government official stance, now this is where it's going to get gangster, okay? Iran's government has condemned the U.S.-Israel strikes as violations of international law and asserts its right to self-defend under the UN Charter, pledging continued retaliation as long as the attacks persist. So they said, we'll be your Huckleberry Boo. We're not running. We're not tucking tail and running. We gonna exchange bomb for bomb, is what Iran is saying. Okay. Tehran's officials have vowed severe retaliation and denounced foreign intervention, portraying the conflict as resistance against aggression. Now, in addition to direct strikes, Iran and allied militia have launched missiles and drones toward Israel and United States bases and have threatened to continue operations across the region. So lastly, for real, Gulf Arab states have expressed varying positions, some condemning Iranian strikes, others criticizing the U.S. and Israeli actions while urging restraint. Global leaders have varied responses. Russia and China have criticized the U.S.-Israel offensive, while other Western countries have voiced support for defensive measures called for de-escalation and diplomacy. So basically, in a nutshell, Iran is saying, we don't care. We are not stopping. We are going to continue as long as y'all continue. And that's a problem for the United States because the Trump administration thought it was going to be boop, one and done. And Iran was going to be like, well, okay, since you put it that way. But they're like, no, we gangster with it too. So it's a problem. Now, let's get to our question at hand. The question at hand is, should Black Americans enlist to go help in the Middle East, right? Now, it should be said that Black Americans have fought in every war. I did a little bit of research, of course, and I won't belabor it, but it basically says that before 1948, Black troops were segregated and often assigned labor roles. In both World War I and II, many Black soldiers received recognition decades later, right? After they were, we can't say the word, in their uniforms. In Vietnam, Black Americans were disproportionately represented in early combat roles, and casualty records from early wars, Revolutionary War, War in 1812 are incomplete, because I was asking basically how many Black Americans perished in war. So the number they have unofficially is between 52,000 and 55,000 in all the wars, although it's probably more because they weren't really keeping records in the Revolutionary War and, you know, things like that. So I say all that to say, before I give it to Donovan, and thank y'all for bearing with me, is that Black Americans have fought in every war. We know that if this conflict that they're trying to say is a conflict continues, they will need people to, you know, hey, how y'all doing? Now, the draft, they got rid of the draft in 1970s or something like that, although it has been discussed. I researched earlier, it says that at the end of this year, they will automatically be registering people for the selective service. So now you kind of have to do it if you're a man, if you're 18, but now they're saying bump all that. We gonna do it for you, okay? So let's say this thing continues. Should Black Americans and your children, right? It'll be Donovan and I's children or whatever. Should they go to help get this thing off the ground? And I will leave it at that. And come on now, JJ, you boy, I tell you what, you stole my thoughts. But go ahead, Donovan.
Here we go. Here we go again. Number one, if they do the selective service thing, women will be subjected to it as well. So you're going to see a big pushback against that because women want equality. This is equality, women. You want to be equal? Now, if men have to, 18-year-old men and above have to be subjected to selective service, which is not the draft. It's called the selective service. It's drafting numbers of people who are eligible for the draft. Women will be subjected to that as well. Now, I am not one to tell anybody to join the military, because it is not for everybody. But I will say this, just some of the, and I'm gonna keep mine short because we have some great comments in the comment section. Just like you just said, Black Americans have served in every war this country has had. Matter of fact, the very first casualty of the American Revolution was a Black man. Now, having said that, when we sit at the table and we demand reparations, you can say, we've participated. You can't sit at the table just bringing your fork, your knife, and your spoon. I mean, you could, but that doesn't mean you're going to get served. The people that are going to get served is the people who put skin in the game, went out and got the chicken, cut the chicken up, and whatever, right? You just can't come into this country and say, oh, I want the goods and all the greatness of the country, but I don't want to, take this and I don't want to take that. Somebody has to protect this country. Now, I'm not saying Blacks should go and do it, but if it is in your interest to do so, then do so. Because again, as a lot of people have seen, if you know what the hell you're doing, there's a lot of benefits in the military. Now, I will say this as a combat veteran myself. Look at the statistics. I got deployed 16 times in the last Middle East war. That's just the last one. I was in Desert Storm, and I was in some Ethiopia before that. Black Hawk Down, whatever, before that. Look at the odds. They sent me back because nobody wanted to enlist. I had to go back 16 times. Every time they send you back, and those of you guys that have a military background, you guys know what I'm talking about. Every time they send you back, the chances of you returning to your loved ones get smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay? Because you are being exposed to death every time you go back there. So you might make it the first time, great. Hallelujah. There's nothing says you're going to make it the second time. Back in the day before these recent wars, like the Vietnam experience, most of my parents, baby boomer, Generation X parents, if your parents went to Vietnam, you only went for 1 year and you didn't have to go back because they had the draft instituted and stuff like that. Everybody got a piece. And that's what it's supposed to be about. It didn't matter what your status was. Of course, we know the rich. Oh, I'm going to school. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got that. And they pussy. They jumped out of it, right? But the point is, we cannot come to the table, and I can't tell you guys what to do. You can't come to the table demanding reparations or whatever else, and you didn't put any skin in the game. That they're going to say, well, yeah, you guys invented this, you guys have done that, but when we needed you the most, where were you at? So there's going to be some people that are going to fight. There's going to be some people that are going to fight, but I can almost guarantee and tell you, somebody has to pay the price. And I tell you, I have some friends, we have a saying, some gave some and some gave all. Now, again, I'm not telling people to go into the military, black people to go into the military. That ain't what I'm saying. But what are you going to do if they draft you? If you don't want to go, don't go. But what you going to do if they start drafting? Ladies, because you're going to be subjected to this next thing of draft. But I don't want to scare you guys, because at the end of the day, why do you think we have major smart bombs? Because the military already knows these generation of kids are not equipped to go and get it like the generations previous to them. That's why they have smart bombs. It's going to take a small force to do with what they're going to do. So these $1 million bombs and smart bombs, this is why they're using them, because to rely on these video game kids that are out of shape, they can't walk a mile, they can't do this. They've already planned for that. So they're not even going to be, for that even thought to come up, it's a waste of time. They're not even going to waste their time with it. So that's my 2 cents.
All right, so I'm going to get into the comment section. I've been reading some of y'all comments, great comments. So I'm just asking the question, should Black Americans enlist or get involved or whatever it is? Donovan is basically saying, you're saying yes? Is that what you're saying for that, or it's up to you, discretion?
Yeah, it's up to you. But okay. the thing is, if not enough people, and that's a far scenario, doesn't go, and you get drafted, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
No.
Okay.
And I'll get into that in a little bit. But let me get some of these comments. Facts Not Feelings, you crazy. He says all the IG and OF people in Dubai are in trouble. They stuck, right? They over there, they stuck. So, maybe they can do a little overtime. And I'm sorry about that, Quan. Yeah, I didn't know what's going on with the algorithm or whatever it is. It's been kind of wonky the last couple of weeks. So hopefully YouTube will, quit tripping or whatever it is. So for all of y'all that are retired, military and all that, thank you for your service and your sacrifices and all of that. True Judah, how you doing? Says no, don't enlist at all. And if y'all don't mind, YouTube, Facebook safe, saying why you don't think, if you can, in a short sentence, that way I can read it. So other than saying no, just give me a reason if y'all don't mind. Tyrone, what's going on with you? Says we want our reparations check. Yeah, we want that. Star Jammer, thank you for your service as well. Says I see many wartime atrocities. I bet. Facts My Feelings says, I predict if ground troops are needed, it won't be enough. And U.S. was asked for more people to volunteer to join the military. Yeah, I have my opinions. I will give them to y'all shortly. Sister Cynthia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Stormy weather, what's going on? I can't. I'm doing Ramadan. I got less than an hour to go before I can drink. You know, I've been running my mouth all day. That's part of the problem. Just been talking. I have not shut up all day. Like from 4:30, I've been talking in the morning. So I apologize for that. I apologize. And I worked out. Anyway. Scoop, he says, talking about us going to war, what about our reparations that's coming back just to be called a ninja? That's out. Yes, indeed. And Storm Weather say, you
Well,
know,
they're going to call you that regardless. So again, what does it matter?
Yeah. Jerome says, I already advised one of my brothers and daughters not to enlist in the service when my brother asked me to advise her. Yeah. I'm just seeing y'all. See y'all talking back and forth to each other. A Shy Town boy, what's going on with you? Says, I just got here. No and hell no. Black Americans, FBA have shed more than enough blood over this country. And Quine says, new rule, all political representatives must enlist. Come on now. The military, when their elected president declares a war against the country along with the voters. Now we getting somewhere.
Wait, stop right there. The president cannot declare war. Why does everybody think that what the president can do? He is authorized by the war powers to commit troops for 90 days. Now, Congress can change that and make him commit troops for 30 days. But guess what? Both parties work together. They don't care about that. Once the troops are committed, what do? You let them just go in there, and cut up, and some of them die and stuff and not support the troops. I was talking to my uncle this morning about that. And this is what they do. If the president has authorization to put troops in harm's way anywhere around the world, what do you think the Congress is going to do as the American people and people who have loved ones in the military are looking at them going to do? They're going to support the troops. And next thing you know, we're taking over this country and we're doing regime change all over the place. Once the troops are in harm's way, you basically, Congress has given the president unilateral power to wage operations all around the world. And that's what's happening. The president cannot declare war. I just want to get that clarified.
Okay, so while I agree with that, but if Trump says that there's a war going on and he made the decision to go over there and do what he did over the weekend, what do you call that?
It's war and everything but name. By law and the Constitution, he can't declare war. Only Congress can do that. It's called an operation. What's the operation called right now?
Epic Theory.
It's an operation.
Well, he needs to get it clear as to whether it's an operation, conflict, or war. I'm just telling you what your man said.
The whole point of declaring war is so that the Congress can debate if we should commit troops. But no politician wants to put their name on, let's say, another Vietnam or something like that, because they're more worried about being reelected and being popular. Even though I don't agree with her today, one of the only Congress members I respect was Barbara Lee. Because when 9/11 hit, she was the only Congress member that said no to give Bush the authorization to go to war unilaterally without congressional approval. She was the only one.
Yeah. African Native says, who is the instigator and when is the last time they stood for blacks? None of our war. We blacks should sit back and enjoy our popcorn. Let Trump send his relatives to go to war. I totally agree with you.
Yes, I agree with that. How many of you guys have seen the play or the movie, A Soldier's Story or Soldier's Play? Very good movie, and that was kind of based on real life situations, right? Because if you look at Sergeant Waters, what was Sergeant Waters saying? He was saying in the next war, if we don't fight and we don't serve, then things aren't going to change for us. So there's two forms of opinion how you look at that, right? Like I said, I'm not telling anybody to go to war. I'm not telling anybody to enlist, but at the same time, like I just said, you don't have any skin in the game. You can't come to the table demanding anything because you haven't given up anything. So in the Soldier's Story, that was kind of part of the play there. So remember how they were like how he treated CJ because he was ignorant and this that. It was. If you haven't seen that movie, go see that movie. That's a good example of should we go, should we not go.
Yeah, Soldier Story is one of my mama's favorite movies. Yes, indeed. Black Panther. He says, no, hell no. We protected this country since the beginning, and what have we received? Not a damn thing. That's what we received. I don't know if that's working.
And whose fault is it that we haven't received anything? Our black representatives, and most of them never served in the military. So when they go up there and they talk, matter of fact, they don't even come to the table because they're not invited. They have nothing to push back with. They have no collateral to push back with. None.
D. Wilson says, laugh out loud. This lets you know how crazy people becoming. France, how you doing? Says, is it true Barron Trump has enlisted and that FBAs are willing to die for Trump? Come on, do Barron look like he about to go pick up anything other than a remote control to a game? Trump ain't finna send his baby. But he'll try to send yours. That's for sure. Yes, King Noble Crispus Atticus was the first brother. Hey, Lady Diane, how you doing? Diana, rather. He was his first brother to give it up. Hope you're doing well, Lady Diana. Let's see here. Yep, y'all got it right. Crispus Attucks. The facts I'm feeling says all the independent sisters. All the independent sisters don't need no man. Now's your chance to prove you don't need protection from a man in war or get in the front line. We will not do no such a thing. They all conflating. Because we saying, when I say we, I mean collectively, sisters saying they don't need no man. What that got to do with them getting on the front line? Y'all making up stuff now to be mad at.
Yeah. And I want you guys to look at the historical text. When Martin Luther King lost the Democratic Party and he started realizing what was going on, what did he speak out against that the president at the time was very furious about? The war in Vietnam. Because if you talk to any Vietnam veteran, whatever, most of the people who served in the combat roles in Vietnam were black and brown soldiers that were being enlisted. This is why Muhammad Ali said, ain't no Vietnamese called me the N-word and all this other stuff. And that's what was happening. Oh, this was under a Democratic president. Oh my God, Democratic Party policy. Instead of them fighting the war, they drafted young black men in the inner cities and everywhere else that they can find them to go fight wars for them. So go look at some of these movies. I think one of the good movies to see is the Oliver Stone one with Charlie Sheen.
Apocalypse Now?
No, with Charlie Sheen. I forget, but somebody in the chat will get it. But look at the roles of the black people in that movie.
It's right there.
It's right there.
Yeah.
In that movie, they were always talking about, man, I'm from Chicago. I shouldn't be here. I ain't got no smoke for these people, this, that. And in the movies, they always depicted the black soldier as a coward. Did you guys know? Have you guys noticed that in these movies? Yeah, we're always a coward or a clown.
Yeah, Average Logical Thinker, thank you so much for the donation. Love it. Appreciate you for that. He says, I recommend blacks to serve due to the benefits. I live comfortably. I'd also like to see more blacks serving to help control the narrative inside with certain things. But people have the right to choose. War going to happen either way. That is a very good point. I know them benefits. The show is good. I'm trying to find me a man with some. How you doing? Was you an officer? Hey.
You guys, if you guys ever go to 29 Palms, they're at the gate. There is a plaque of Demetria and her girls right there for their unwavering support.
I identify as a problem, boo. A good problem, though. Yes, I want my plaque, Donovan K. Get up there. You a major. Get up there and wield your influence and say, hey, she put in a lot of time on all the bases in Southern California. Now, I ain't putting that kind of time, okay?
Yes. They entertained the troops and danced with the guys and just, made sure we had some female companionship.
Sure did. I need a Purple Heart or something. What's the highest Medal of Honor? That's what I need. I almost put all of it on the line. I ain't put all of it on the line. When I say all, you know what I mean, okay? I was in the barracks, but not like that. Not like that. I got stories one day I'll tell y'all. One day. My daddy gone. I think I could tell these stories. No, I can't tell them stories. Hey, Monet, how you doing? Albie Chill says, I got two titanium rods in my ankle. I've already said nah. They've already said nah to me. Yeah, thank God to them titanium rods, huh? But yeah, it sounds like too they've dropped a lot of the things that used to disqualify people, from what I understand, from going into the military. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, you can't be in a wheelchair. Yeah, you can't be. It's a whole bunch of things. And then Chi-Town Boy 104 says this. Yep, Donovan is correct. This is how you know this aggression is not defense. Without an official declaration of war, there can be no draft. So those of you guys that are worried about being drafted, you're not going to be drafted because Congress is the only one that has that power. So you can't be drafted because the president cannot declare war.
Or even if you're not drafted, I mean, just going in general, whatever it is. But I tell you what, so we know Congress is trying to convene this week to vote on whether they should do be a war or not, stop it, whatever. But Iran says, "Oh, we in it for the long run." That's what they literally said. We ain't going nowhere. They said, "Hey, don't get too comfortable because we in this thing."
Well, here's the thing. It's funny. All these liberal Democrats are calling me saying, see, we told you Trump was going to start a war, whatever deal is, and now Iran's going to retaliate. Oh my gosh, they're going to retaliate. Well, why are you worried? Why are you worried? How are they going to Oh, that's right. We've had borders open for 4.5 years or whatever, and over 11, 17 million people came here. We don't know if they're sleepers. We don't know anything. As a matter of fact, I saw a newscast up in Wisconsin where they're telling people to keep their heads on swivel and kind of, if you see something, say something. Isn't this strange that after leaving these borders open, now they're telling you we're unsafe? But they weren't saying that when they were flooding all these people in here. Now, all of a sudden, look out for yourself. Isn't that strange?
Yeah, that's why I said I don't recommend going into crowded places and things like that, because you don't know. There could be sleeper cells over here. Just, they think the guy in Austin, Texas was part of it. He was like, I'm
And he
going
was from Senegal. Black man from Senegal.
Yeah. So they're saying that he could be connected to, all of that. So I would just say be careful. I know here the Houston rodeo is going on. I can't really go right now anyway because I'm doing Ramadan, unless it's at night. I don't really hang out at night. But yeah, the rodeo was going on and it's a very crowded place and things. And I was like, yeah, I surely won't be going there because you just don't know. You have to have your head on swivel. And I'm not going to lie, to kick it earlier, I went walking, which is why I ended up at the gym later. But my daughter and I went walking, and there was a guy sitting in the park. And he was reading, but then he had like his head covered up with I don't know what he was. It could have been Arab or something like that. It was covered up, and it's kind of warm outside, right? It was kind of. My daughters and I, spidey senses kind of was like, we just felt uneasy, so we just ended our walk because I kind of feel bad that I felt that way, but it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna take no chances. Somebody be like, in the park or whatever. So I would say we should be on heightened alert because we don't know, that other people are mad.
Right. But again, so isn't this another reason why you should vet people before they come into the country and make sure that they're who they say they are and all this other stuff, rather than opening the borders and subjecting innocent people to sleeper cells and things that shouldn't be going on? I mean, I'm very sure we can catch these people at the border or wherever we can, versus millions of them coming in, and now we got to play catch up. So now all of these Americans' lives are at risk. But isn't it funny, now that we're doing what we're doing overseas, now we're worried about sleeper cells?
Well, I mean, especially during the last administration, any and everybody can be over here, but there was sleeper cells everywhere, right? 9/11 is one of them. I mean, you just never know, right? You never know. Some of them could be lying and waiting for decades just to wait for it to pop off, and we know, especially in a lot of those countries, hey, they born to do that. Okay, this is what you do. Okay, if it pops off, this is your mission. And it's all, for the glory of Allah, whatever it is. This is, what they're taught or whatever. But I think it was a good reason why a lot of people was like, leave Iran alone. These ain't no punks. They might be outnumbered, outgunned per se, but they gonna give it all they got with what they have, and that's kind of the unfortunate, but not so unfortunate for Trump and Netanyahu. They thought these people were just gonna lay down and take it. They was like, we got all day. We can reach out and touch one person. It's gonna be worth it. And I heard that one of the Israeli somebody, the generals, I don't know, they got touched earlier. So, and Sister Cynthia, thank you so much. As I stand in full support with my revolutionary military soldiers, brothers and sisters. I love y'all. Thank you for your bravery, protection, and service to our country. Absolutely, and all day.
And have you guys noticed that Iran, if you've been watching the videos, and I've been watching a lot of them, they're striking bases and stuff like that. But guess what else they're striking? Vacation hotels, nice big spots. So guess what? All these people that are on vacation, all you sisters that got those passports, and you over there doing this, doing that, or whatever, all Americans, these people that are just doing this stuff. Iran is very, very, very smart. They're going after public opinion to stop all of this, because they know you can't beat the American military. They already know that. We're the most powerful military in the world. They already know that. So you're not going to fight the American military directly. You're going to fight the money, the infrastructure, what it took to build those things, the corporations, all of that stuff. When I saw that thing hit that hotel in Qatar, I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Of course, that's a Geneva Conventions violation, but we're not at war. So,
well, since when do people start caring about Geneva Convention violations? And you got your nerve talking about passports, and all you brothers are all over the doggone country talking about the sisters with the passports. So sister scientist, thank you so much for becoming a member. Love and appreciate you. You say our debt is paid. If you choose to serve, that's on you, sir. Absolutely. Buckhorse, how you doing? And hello to everybody. Tim, what's going on with you? Says Black Americans joined by your conscience. Says should Agent Orange and his rich friends push a drive? Get your life and attitude right. Either you go fight or a fight possibly come to you. Either way, get your attitudes in check and let history reflect. You say hashtag United States Army 26 years rather committed. Well, thank you for your service. Yes, indeed. I'm just reading your comments. I do have an opinion. Yolanda says one of my favorite movies. Yes, Soldier Story. Boy, if you know, you know. That's one of those movies you can watch over and over again. And Quan, you say exactly, Demetra. We are over in a stand, just speaking figuratively at Donovan. Okay. And Sister Shirley said, Donovan, I love the Soldier Story movie. Goddess, how you doing? So Black Americans don't owe America a damn thing. They owe us, period. Come on now. Sherry, what's going on with you? Says hell to the no. Easy. Says, I know this. The news is downplaying damages done by, come on now, they are Iran missile strikes. Of course they are, But to your point, Donovan, yeah, Iran is like, I call it Iran. Y'all just forgive me, okay? Whatever my mouth want to say, that's what it's the same thing.
I ran so far. Okay.
Yeah, but as Iran is saying, why should y'all be happy? Yeah, we can't, because they already know they don't have the capabilities to make it over here. But they're like, great, we'll disrupt business and these military bases. And oh yeah, Israel, we can reach you, and we can reach all these other things. And so we got all day to do this. Now we might not cause the damage y'all causing, but guess what? Y'all getting touched too.
Oh yeah, they closed the Gulf of Hermans. That's where all the oil tankers come out of. They're touching the money. This is how you do it.
Pay for it. Yeah, they said gas is and oil is already about to be sky. It's summertime coming too. They said even here in Texas we could see $5, which is like, excuse me, people making $7.
That's good. California, $5.
Now when minimum wage is $7.25. I got to work all day for a gas tank, a full tank. And hopefully the doggone job ain't that far. Let's see. JJ says Sergeant Waters quote, do you know the damage one ignorant Negro can do? He's talking about CJ, yo, Geechee, then he told the story about when he let the Frenchies, not him, but some soldier put a tail on him and they run around like a monkey. And he was like, yeah. That's a great movie. And Jeannie, he says, they do for immigrants. They have all the resources. Come on now. Arneva says the profits from these wars are not shared with the soldiers. Ooh. Kevin says BB is running the United States, not Trump. This is the United States of Israel. They took down all the statues and things about black soldiers that they consider us DEI and got rid of black soldiers. Yep, all the top ranking and things. And did you see what P Head says today? He says basically, if you come after us, whoever it is, we are going to hunt you down and you. That's what he said. That guy from Texas, how you doing? Says, I remember watching Fahrenheit 9/11 when Michael Moore asked congressmen to send their kids to war. Come on now. And they're like, well, humana. Nah, your child ain't special.
For those of you guys that don't know, you can serve into the military up until you're 41, up until to enlist. The reserves.
I got like a year left.
Yeah, the reserves and guard, you can enlist up until you're 41. It might be 43 now, but it's about 41.
So I got
active duty, you have until 27. But if they need your bodies, they'll make exceptions.
Hopefully I age out soon. TT, what's going on? Says, understand the sentiment about black pushing back on the military. However, terror does not care about the ethnicity. If the U.S. government or U.S. goes down, we all go down, no matter skin color, ethnicity. Yeah, I got my opinions. I'm just reading y'all's really quick. I respect all opinions, obviously, right? So the Cynthia says there's a lot of young people who are excited to be enlisted in the military, especially our black youth. I will not doubt or down their spirit. I saw a video of some black military people who are enlisted. They were dancing and partying and all kind of stuff. I said, well, you got to do what you got to do, Yes, the guy from Texas, Muhammad Ali, refused to go to war. They took his boxing license and a whole host of other things. So black, he says, I don't agree with anything this brother is saying. You're seriously sitting up here telling black folks to serve America and its illegal imperialistic war. Get serious. Well, wait.
When did I tell and say people should join the military? Not once did I say that. Not once. Do you see how people hear what they want to hear? Not once did I say you need to join the military. Not once. I said, if that's what you're going to do, go ahead and do it. I did say I'm not the one to tell you to join the military. So again, quit lying on me.
Yes. And Kels, you said Platoon. That's the name of the movie. I could not think of the movie Platoon. I like documentaries and war movies and things like that. Some of them are kind of hard to watch. Dead Presidents is another one. That was a damn good movie. Sure was. I watched it a million times. So thank you, Kels. JJ says they push to black troops to the front lines. Yeah. And even like the Vietnam War, they was like, black man, we ain't got problems with you. Don't come over here. Our problems with them folks. And them folks had to line it up in Vietnam. Now I said, go back, okay? Because they couldn't beat them in the brush. And America just was not prepared to fight, the Vietnamese. And they was like, yeah, we going back. But a lot of them people are my father's generation. They came back not the same, but they had to find out the hard way. Benita, what's going on? Yes, Platoon is the name of the movie. It's so many war movies. Yes, indeed. Didi, what's going on? Yeah, Platoon. When we get old, we just can't remember certain things. Easy says, Iran has not called me the N-word, not to your face. But yeah. Eviscerator. Oh, I'm sorry. Because y'all names, how you doing? I really can read. It says, we are the excellence, integrity, and moral guard of this country, and we serve for our communities and to protect our contributions and future till they get their ish together. We're in your comment cut off. I don't know where the rest of it is. Edward says another good movie is The Boys from Company C. Yeah, I remember that one as well. Frederick, how you doing? He says, out of all the racism we face every day, we should know better not to fight for them. I will not fight to protect my enemies that hate me. Yeah, come on, you average logical thing. I need y'all to go on out there and talk to them people. Say, hey, Demetria got a lot of skin in the game. She was there supporting the troops, all kind of stuff. It's about time for her to get a check. I need to be service connected. Okay. I need my service. Just put me in about 80% and I'm good. Yeah, Purple Heart. That's what I need. I left almost all of it on the line.
Dang, you get the Purple Heart. That means you went to Pound Town. Go ahead.
I'm a lady, okay? I'm a lady. I get a Purple Heart because I said no. Get your hands off of me. JJ says, yeah, 5-star. Is that the top? Is the 5-star? Yeah, that's what I need. Who calling all the shots around here? That's what I need, okay? because I know you got all the benefits. They gonna valet park my car. Oh, that's my husband. That's the 5-star general. Oh, yes, yes, ma'am. Do you need us to wash it too? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You'll be surprised at how many women wear their or spouses wear their person's rank. And, they'd be parking in the general's spot. It's the general's wife. She ain't got no business parking over there, but she does.
I just want to say, do you know who I am? You know who I'm married to? I have your job. Something, something along those lines. Magneta, thank you so much. Once again, says, can y'all show the video of the Black Marines from the 70s that were describing their experience in Vietnam just for educational purpose? I have to find that, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, they was making.
Yeah, there's a group. There's a book called Brothers, which was based what those guys were going through. But there's also another movie. It's called The Walking Dead. It stars Morton. And a bunch of black stars are in there. If you guys haven't seen that, it's called Brothers, and it talks about these guys' experiences being drafted and then going over there and doing what they did. It's a great movie. It's really hard to find, but I think I have a copy of it. Yeah, I do. But great movie. Google it. It's called The Walking Dead. So just put it in there.
Not the one with Sharon, Susan Sarandon, and
no, that's Dead Man Walking. That's Dead Man
Walking. Come on now with the titles,
Yeah, just put in Walking Dead military movie. It'll come up.
Because you might get some AMC stuff with the zombies. Intuitively Wise, how you doing? Says, I think combat training is beneficial for American Black man in the future. Yeah, well, you could get those training. The Nation of Islam, they get training and all kind of things. The Fruit of Islam, even women, right? They could kick your butt if they needed to. So you don't necessarily. I'm just saying, need to go to war to do that. And believe it or not, I'm pretty handy. If you come up on me, I'll make a believer out of you. I know some things. Anyway, I don't want nobody to test that theory. I'm just saying, Gold Crown Eyes, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, who else haven't we seen? Donovan, I know you got time since we got to take the cat somewhere.
No, I still got time. They called me. That's who was just calling me saying, can I come a little bit later? So I got another half an hour.
Okay, cool. Al, how you doing? Hope you're well. Bruce Tracker, you say, yeah, but they say, let's have open borders, leave it to the DNC shields. Yeah, that's a problem because any and everybody could be up over here, right? Eunice, how you doing? Good evening to you as well. Says, I hope all is well. Good looking out, Donovan. I didn't know that was going on. I live here in West Canton. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, African Native Allah Akbar. Absolutely. I cannot attest to that more and more. I mean, I wish I could, right? But absolutely easy. Said Donovan, them hypersonic missiles are no joke. And astrological thing that says facts, keep your head on swivel. Got to, because boy, I tell you, you don't know who out there want to get it crunk. I'm like, listen, whatever you got going on, I'm with it. Just let me put up the Baptist finger, right? And get out of here. But yeah, I'm not gonna be in no crowded places. Tim says, I am cracking up when Demetria said she put it all. I did, not all, not quite, all on the line. Might want to choose those words wisely during my dorm days. That was definitely would have gotten her and her friend's service medal. Laugh out loud. Just know I'm having fun there. Oh, trust me.
Hey, brother Tim, them all night discos and stuff. Demetria and her girls they show up in 4 or 5 deep in a car.
I know all about having to get sponsored on. Yeah, you needed a soldier boy, the sponsor you own. And then when you was on there, it was, hey, I identified the problem up in here, boo. Okay, what's your rank? I'm just playing. It wasn't even like that. I be doing too much. I really just be playing. But I know women like that, boy. There's like you got them older women. See, I was like 19 or whatever on the basis. But them older women were like cheering and stuff. They're like, I need a man with benefits. I need a man that gets some benefits, get married or whatever it is. But I was like, I'm just here to dance, okay? Barricade, how you doing? Says, have y'all seen the movie Tomorrow? The Tomorrow War, where everybody had to go to war no matter your situation. I have not seen or even heard of that. Marjorie, you say soft targets are always large groups of people celebrating, enjoying some form of public activity. Don't be a soft target and monitor your surroundings. Yep, I don't like hanging out in crowds anyway. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, hey, we need to be careful, especially, during these times, because, when people are mad, they want to get some get back. Everybody can get it. Yep. JJ says African woman threatening FBA with a strap. What? Oh, okay. When you say a strap on device, you mean like a kaboom, right? Not one of the. My mind just be everywhere. Okay, y'all gonna have to be specific with me.
Yeah, and Facts Not Feelings says this. Many blacks go into the military for economic reasons, can't find opportunities elsewhere, education, pay for their education. So don't make it look like blacks are excited to join military. It's not true. No, no. And I would agree with that, Facts Not Feelings. When I joined the military, it was for educational benefits. My plan was to do 4 years. Then next thing you know, this popped off, that popped off, that popped off. Next thing you know, I'm 10 years deep. When you get 10 years in the military and it went that fast, you might as well finish the other 10. And as they say, the rest is history. And I'm going to say this for myself. It was the best decision I made, because when I found out the benefits, in addition to the VA and what comes after that, plus being a state veteran here in California, and Demetra's a witness. She was there when I was getting my approvals. I mean, it's the best decision I got, not knowing what the economy is today. You guys better look at some of these veterans, especially those that are my age and younger, that have gotten out of the military. Mo is one of them. She's from San Diego and she's living in Virginia. Virginia ain't cheap. These people are living very well, okay? Very well.
Thank you, Gold Crown Eyes. I appreciate that. Thank you. Listen, I just need to marry somebody who's got some skin in the game. That's I'm a good wife. I don't eat much. I'll be quiet. I know how to say, "Oh, really? Yeah, sure. Why not?" I just need to marry one. That's all I need to do. Francis says Wes Moore, Democrat, and Wesley Hunt, the Republican, are both politicians with military skin in the game. Do they support reparations?
They're both tethers.
Oh, we don't say that word on here.
Oh, they're both others.
Yeah, well, Wes Moore didn't, but then he was overridden, if you will, by sounds like the state assembly or Congress or whatever, the state, representative. They overrode his decision because he was like, "Oh, we got to think about it." Basically said, "No, Wesley Hunt, hell no, he don't support no reparations." No. King Noble says a lot of these countries have children that have know how to shoot guns bigger than them. They're trained illers too. Yeah, they are. Easy says they're willing to die for what they believe. Come on now. Yes, they are. That's what they raised to do. All right. L says, are they talking about drafting? I hope I spelled it right. Not yet. Draft hasn't been really a thing since the 70s. But they are talking about toward the end of the year, they're going to start automatically registering people. So they're not going to wait for you to turn 18, especially men, to do it. It's still a debate whether they are going to do it for girls or women yet. Not yet. But yeah, so they're going to automatically start doing it at the end of the year. They're like, don't worry. We know where you're at. We're going to register you. Right? Because they know most people ain't going to do it. Okay, so let's see. Renz, how you
And you got to think about this too. If it came to a point where we needed bodies like that, with all these illegals in here, you don't think it's not above the government, Republican or Democrat, to offer citizenship to these illegals that are willing to fight overseas and abroad? I have a Marine buddy right now that is staying in Tijuana, served in Iraq, didn't do his paperwork. I don't know what happened. He's separated from his family. He comes to the border and visits his family, but he's trying to get his stuff together right now. And he is a Marine Corps veteran that self-deported back over there to get his stuff right. And the only reason he joined the military, it was a fast track to citizenship.
Yeah. Hey, 48 TCO, how you doing? Says I was making 12 an hour 15 years ago, and it wasn't a livable wage then, and it ain't gonna be one now. You ain't lying. Boy, try to make $12 an hour and try to take care of your bills. You be having 30 $12 an hour jobs. Ruth Tracker says lottery is 20 to 26. So you said that's the age. Star Jammer says y'all can't believe they only have 3 or 4 now. And I know we're so behind in the comments. I apologize. Let me go down just a little bit so I can get a little bit more relevant with you guys' comments. Let's see, just going down. Ren says it's amazing. Trump born in June 1946, Bush 1946, Clinton 1946 become POTUS and all draft Dodgers. That is very interesting. Hey, brother Jonell, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. You going to war, brother Jonell? I know your answer. You ain't even got to tell me. Mad Dog says, black man, stay home. This is not your war. That's what the Vietnamese said.
And Mad Dog says The Walking Dead starred Eddie Griffith and Alan Payne. Yes, that's the movie. Okay. That's it.
I might have seen it. My daughter be like, you did see that movie. I'm like, I did. And she explained it to me. I'm like, oh, I guess I did. Uh, Kwan says the guy from Senegal was a CIA op like during COVID, Asian hate crime, thus black fake tactic. It might be because I just find it all kind of weird. He got all the things lined up, right? Just perfectly, the Quran and all that other stuff.
Yeah, and then he went and did all his citizenship paperwork correctly just to throw it away. Something's not adding up.
Yeah, some off. I'm with y'all that. Jay, how you doing? Says no, we should stay out of this. This is their war. Yep. Diane says these people are still underlying our children. Oh yes, in trees. No one of my family is going anywhere. Absolutely. Let's see. Going down, going down. Oppo, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while. It's South Carolina. How you doing? Says the person who said Iranian never call blacks an N-word. Do you understand Iranian? Yeah, that's why I said not to your face. Right? The guy from Texas says I went to a toga party in college. I never went to any of those type of things, but I sure was on a base of 2 or 3, 4, 5. I sure was. That's why I said, hey, Sister Sunlight, how you doing? I don't know how these young women that they missing a good time. I ain't saying you got to go do nothing now because the military boys are nasty. Okay, they's nasty. You got to tell them no, I'm here to dance. Okay. But yeah, it was a good time. Other than that, it's a good time.
Hey, we had the one thing. You remember when you were 19, we had a nice car and we had a nice CD rack in our rooms. That's pretty much it. Nice stereo equipment. We had that little stereo thing.
Hey, this speaking of which, is my sister. She know about the military bases. We was all there together. We sure was. Had a good time on them bases. But she says, who's enlisting to help us? But he ain't lying. Veterans are getting over more so than folks on welfare.
Yes. I mean, you're talking, these people are lit. Let me tell you this. I know a enlisted guy who retired as an E6. Just in his military retirement and his VA retirement, he is bringing home almost $7,000 tax-free. That's just in what he's doing there. And he has another federal job. So you add that in it, this guy's probably making way, way close to $200,000.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start a dating service for women seeking retired military. Oh, you know what? You just go to the VFW. Get you
That's what I was gonna say. A $6 Coke and a burger. That's all you need. Sit at the bar, ladies. Sit at the bar.
Maybe I need to sell some cat suits and thigh-high boots and go to the VFW.
Wait a minute. Sell the body shaper thing too, because some of you ladies, I mean, come on.
Hey, we gotta wear. Oh yeah, but y'all need some body shapers too. I've been to the VFW and I'm like, you shaped like a donut, fool. You up in here with Crown Royal looking like the penguin. You know, looking for something young, hot, and turn tight. And you look like you ain't exercised since you was in the military in 1972. Anyway, Magneto says, I gave the heirs a black eye and busted mouth because I was punching so hard when I got first property tax bill for your car now. How did that work? The guy from Texas says, Wesley Hunt is definitely not one of us. You ain't lying. I saw him talk the other day. He looks like a black it. When I say it, I'm talking about the clown from It. You know, Pennywise. He didn't love Trump. And oh, gosh, he just loves my wife. Oh, gosh, he's not racist. I'm like, all he's missing is a red wing and a red, orange wing and a red nose.
Yeah, but for those of you guys that don't know, because you're listening to Uncle Rufus, who was in Vietnam, is angry and stuff. I don't pay for one of my cars. I don't pay registration. I don't pay property tax. There's all kinds of stuff, free passes. I get discount. It's all there. I mean, I know I'm not telling anybody to join the military, but what I'm saying is, for those that know, they know. These people are living good.
Okay. Boss player. He says the government offers socialism to military members to defend capitalism and imperialism all over the world. The U.S. military is a terrorist organization. Some would say that is true. I mean, we're seeing it all over the world, right?
Oh, and by the way, I want to give my boo thang a happy belated birthday. Saw her playing cards with Trick Daddy, y'all, on Facebook, in my face, with Trick Daddy.
Yes, my sister is a girl of the world. Okay, her grass don't grow under her feet at all. One day she might be playing cards with Trick Daddy, and one day she might be in Dubai. Okay, and not doing nothing nefarious in Dubai, but she, she's a girl of the world. Jacoby, how you doing? Says, good afternoon, everyone. Should we get involved in this? No, but if I'm called to duty, that's my duty to the country. I don't have a choice. I believe fleeing is illegal. Okay. So not going to Canada. Eunice, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Zechariah, what's going on? Says, according to the Bible, the Iranians, which is ancient day Persia, was the very first red bear of the East. Yeah, and I've seen facts. I'm feeling talking about Persia and all that. So yeah, come on with the history lesson. Soul Black says the same lie they told black folks about serving skin in the game and the military to prove ourselves worthy. They're telling the immigrants today, well, hey, they can have at it. The Messenger say a van full of strippers pulled up to the Coatesville VA hospital on payday. Come on now. Well, they hiring? Is there room on that bus? I'm just playing. Let me stop for somebody think I'm serious. Yeah, it's easy. I ain't lying. Them dudes been there. And then some of them have the nerve to try to put on that old military uniform they put on in 1980. Buttons is about to kill somebody. Put their eye out. Pow! And they up in there talking about, yes, I was a major. Like, yeah, you got a major donut around your midsection too. But what was your rank, brother? How much you making? What you bringing home? And do you have a bottle of blue pills? Because if you got the blue pills, then I can't hang out with you, because that means you're gonna want me to do something for your little checky check. I'm just saying, just give me the benefits. I know, the wife get the benefits too, right? Give me the commissary card and all of that, and I'm good.
Right. See, and let me preface this. Everybody thinks when you join the military, you're going to be fighting and, oh, you got a gun. Yes, you're trained to do that. Now, Air Force, you're definitely not trained to, unless you're in the special forces, right? Unless you're in the special forces, right? And in Air Force, we don't really do too much with that. Everybody isn't going to have a gun put in their hands. That's just not going to happen in the modern military warfare. Do you know a majority of people in the military are in support? Their logistics and support in the rear with the gear. The only people that have been fighting in most of these major wars, other than the Marine Corps and the Army in Iraq and Afghanistan, and that's done, are the flyboys, the guys that are doing the air suppression and dropping the armaments and the weapons and stuff like that. Even me as a tactical airlifter, I did mostly aeromedical, picking up the wounded Army and Marine guys in the forward fields and bringing them back to Germany or wherever the field hospital was. So the majority of people that are going to go aren't going to be fighting. Now, if we get into a land war where we need that many people, come on, this ain't Vietnam. You're not dealing, and those of my Vietnam brothers that are in the chat, Vietnam had a specific situation where they were in a jungle. Have you ever been to a desert when you can see everything and there's not much cover? You actually think it's going to take a lot of troops to do what it is we did in Iraq and Afghanistan? It won't take much. They don't have much infrastructure out there. So think about that. So all this, I'm not going to go to the military in the Middle East. There ain't much out there. And most people do not go into combat. Most.
Damn, Scoop. He said California gas expensive now. I'm paying $150 a fill up every other day. Hamburger Hill, Full Metal Jacket, and Black Hawk Down my favorites. Yeah, I've seen a few of those. I honestly have not seen Black Hawk Down. I know what it is, but I haven't seen the movie. But godly, $150, boy, the way I would be, do what Donovan did. Get into an e-bike, a scooter, okay? That's what he got. That's what, if I
my scooter goes 90 miles on a gallon of gas.
Yeah, see, I would do that if I was in California, but the way these people drive out here, hell to the no. Every time I'm on the freeway, somebody trying to take my life, I'm like, what's wrong with y'all out here? Like, for real, they drive stupid out here. So I couldn't imagine being on a motorcycle or a scooter.
And I want to preface this for those of us that are veterans and that have been out there in the field. There's always a happy tent, especially in the Army. There's always a happy tent with a bunch of privates. And this is a true story. I was coming back, and we were coming back into the United States, and there was this young, was she a specialist? I think she was a specialist. And, you have to declare anything over $10,000. This specialist Army chick in her duffel bag had over $10,000. So they called me from the flight deck to kind of see what was going on. I come down and I'm talking to the girl and I said, where did you get the, and it's cash. She has cash. I said, what are you doing with all this money in your knapsack? And she goes, well, I was, it's my money, this, that, this, right? And I looked at her and I said, oh, you made a little extra money. So she wanted to keep her money, right? And I said, well, what you need to do is disperse this money among your platoon or whatever they were in. So that way you're under the $10,000. But she was coming back with cash money, which I don't understand how she got. Well, I do know how she got the money, but if you guys know what I'm saying, those of you guys that are in the military, tell me if I'm lying. So a lot of ladies, there's a lot of monetary benefit.
You don't say. You think I could set up a tent at the VFW? I'm just saying we're gonna sit up in there and talk, and
yeah, play cards, and
it'll just kind of like bring back memories for them. Oh, there's a tent on the dance floor at the VFW. You see what's going on in there? Not a damn thing. They be drinking that strong Crown Royal just straight. I'm like, I know something wrong with you drinking that. Easy says Donovan, does camel spider? Is there camel spiders for real in the desert?
I think there is, but you got to remember, I was in the Air Force, so I was only in the desert for brief times, and then I would go back to Rheinstein and in the hotel in Frankfurt, and Air Force. I'm staying in the hotel. I'm not staying in a tent. It's very, very, very rare I stayed in the tent out there.
Sure. Then how you know about the tents?
I said very rare I stayed out. I did go to forward locations, but very rare I stayed in the tents.
That lady got some good part of your money, didn't she? I know you was out there just dusty. Kevin says, Dimitri Donovan, check out the military movie Off Limits without I think he meant with Gregory Hines and Willem Dafoe. He says this was an excellent movie. Okay, I have to check that out. The Rink, what's going on with you? He says, hell no, we should not enlist. Magneto says, you just told us how. Robert, he says, you saying Coochie Cash or you saying Coochie Cash? Quan says, I'm getting me a dang horse and buggy. Okay. Tim says, the military is a great stepping stone for so many applicable skills is what you make of it. That guy from Texas says, what's she doing? So she was doing something strange. She had some desert. It was dry as the Mojave Desert. I'm quite sure.
Dimitri, who's the attorney that like took all those things against the football player? Tony Busby.
Oh,
Tony Busby, rich attorney, ambulance chaser, what it is, former Marine. I met Tony Busby not only on the show with the great Gary Monroe. I also met Tony Busby in Desert Storm when he served as a Marine.
Well, look at that.
So what I'm saying is, even in the military, you meet associations that could benefit you when you get out.
That's true. Well, Timothy, how you doing? So damn right, we should enlist. Every American male should serve our military. Well, I'm gonna give my opinion because I see that we are out of time. Magneto says, happy tent made a little extra money. Geez. And that tent was blowing all over the place, wasn't it? And point zero was going on. She says, we've been part of every war. I believe this time we need to stand down. Those already enlisted don't have the option, unfortunately. However, they know what they signed up for. That is true. So
yes, and you ladies, you got to remember, you got to leverage where you're at. It ain't like these guys are, have like this kind of money, but you could name your price, because a lot of these guys you're facing not coming back. You might go on patrol and might not come back. So these guys don't mind dropping a few big bills and making it rain.
Hey, I say more power to him. That sister need a purple heart. Okay, give that sister a purple heart, because I'm sure there was something else that was purple in that tent making all that money. Okay. Anyway, so my opinion is this. Obviously, thank you for your service to everybody serve. You can see Donovan, and that ain't even all the accolades he got going on. That's just some of his wall back there, right? Yeah, he got a whole lot of things. Like I said, this dude got bars all over the doggone place. So yeah, thank you for your service and things like that. Just for me personally, my father born into the Nation of Islam, that was completely against all protocol, right, for them to enlist. Of course, y'all know the story of Muhammad Ali and things like that. And my father too was called up to serve in the Vietnam War, and he told them absolutely not. I will not do that, because as a black man in America, I am not going to go fight for a country that will not fight for me. When I come back here, I will not have any rights at all. You know, after I've gone and potentially given my life and things, and he by all means, I guess he should have gone to jail, but he told them that he was an Asiatic black man, and that is not something he was going to be doing. So they sent him to the psychologist a bunch of times because they thought he was crazy, and he kept on repeating the same thing. And they finally said, they stamped his file. He's crazy, for lack of better words, and they sent him on his way. So he did not have to go to Vietnam. He wasn't going to go. He would have rather, gone to jail and things like that. So obviously, that being my dad's ideology, I too was born into the Nation of Islam, and so I was not taught that I was going to go fight for a country that would not fight for me. Now I say that being my daughter's father was in the Marines and things like that. I know a whole host of people who were in the service and things, but that was not something that my siblings and I were allowed to do. Of course, my father worked for himself, and he was a soldier. He was a FOI, right, Fruit of Islam. So is the military the only way to go learn skills on how to protect yourself and manhood and all those other things? I know the military is not the only place that you can learn that. But of course, even a lot of men or people who never went into the military, they learned how to be men and how to protect themselves, and they were able to teach their children those things. And so I'm just saying there's other alternatives. And yes, again, no shade to anybody. My baby daddy, his benefits are nice. Okay, my daughter went to school for free, which is why she didn't go to
it. Wait, not just a school, San Francisco.
Yes. So she went to school for free, and she got a stipend every month, right? So that's why she didn't go to an HBCU. Anything doesn't make any sense to go pay for school when the school was free or whatever it is. I still say that my daughter did get into Howard, but she chose not to go there for obvious reasons. So I'm not talking down on anybody went into the military, because there's a lot of people who paid the ultimate sacrifice, and there's those who came back and sacrificed because they not a whole human. And my daughter's father, he also came back with some issues. So that I'll never talk down on, but that's just not what I was taught. I know what the United States government and how they feel about us, Black Americans, even to this day. Again, we have served in every war. We have absolutely nothing to show for. We are still fighting for our land. We're still fighting for our freedom. We're still fighting for human rights. We're still fighting for a whole host of other things, but they want us to go pick up arms to go protect them. And when I say them, and it's not even just Black Americans, it's anybody that's not in that tax bracket, because Barron is not going to go. That's Trump and Melania's children, or Eric, or Trump Jr. None of them are going to go to war. All of Elon's 99 kids, none of them are going to, well, they can unless they're, born over here. So maybe they can, but they're not going to go. JD Vance's children, they're too young, but if they weren't, they're not going to go. And all these people who got their finger on the button and make these decisions, their children aren't going to go, but they want us to go. But as a Black American, I'm going to say this. Why should we go? Because they are fighting against us getting the reparations for the labor and everything else that was stolen from our people. So it's like, you want me to go and fight in the war? Them people, Iranians, or however they feel about us, they haven't done anything to us specifically. Nobody has done anything to us. So my question is, what's in it for Black America, WIFBA, to go do that? Right? You want me to send my daughter? My daughter is the age to go to war, and I got a whole bunch of nephews. I was talking to my brother earlier. I said, boy, you got 4 sons that if they were to call this thing up, they would take all, they could call all 4 of your boys up to go. But what's in it for us to do that? He says, well, we'll be in Canada, right? And I put up a clip of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He said, they can't have none of mine. And I feel the same way. Well, I'm going to give up my blood, sweat, and tears for this country that ain't giving it up for me. As I told my brother earlier, we had a long conversation. I say, do me a favor. You want to see how these people feel about you? I want you to do 2 things. I want you to go in the middle of the public square and yell Michael Vick's name and see how these people act. Y'all know what Michael Vick was accused of doing, this, that, and the other. I said, now, okay, bet. They're going to be, oh, he did this to a dog. And I said, then I want you to go in the middle of the public square and yell Derek Chauvin's name and see how mad they get. And I said, because We know what Derek Chauvin did. Derek Chauvin put his knee on the neck of a black man. They're like, well, what did he do? So if you think that these people to this day in 2026 see you as a black man or a black woman in America as a human, you got something coming. But for me and mine, we ain't picking up nothing to go fight for nobody. So that, because what happens, Donovan, you know, in war, they get what? They going for the money, they going for the oil, and they going for the resources. And somebody said they ain't wrote no soldier no check to say, hey, this is the spoils of war. Here's your part of it. And then, boy, I tell you, the problem is this. You come back all jacked up. You try to get your benefits. They almost always tell you no the first time around. So not only do you go over there and pick up arms for a country, then you come back and then they say, well, we denied. And we know a lot of people won't go back and try again because they just feel defeated. I don't know why they tell people no, but then again, I do know why they tell them no. But then we got a country where the black man and a woman in America is the most homeless, and a lot of those people are black veterans. And so they going to fight, and a lot of them have gone to fight, and they sleeping on a cold or a hot concrete, no matter wherever they living, and they're being told, no, we can't do nothing for you. So why should I send mine to go fight for these people to go get more of what they telling me I can't have, right? Now, if they really serious about all this nonsense they spewing to me and you, then you send your babies and your grandbabies. And then I might think about it. I'm not going to send mine. I think about it. But that's how I know you serious. If you want to put some real skin in the game, go give up your precious baby to go up there and on the front line. Because that's what they doing in Europe. You know, both of the princes, Harry and William, they went and they fought in war. They was on the front line. But over here, they want to send you while their babies is tucked in at night because you out there paying, what you say? Some paid some and some paid all. And theirs ain't paying shit. Excuse my French.
Well, there it is. And what Demetra famously always leaves out is her daddy took a fellow military man overseas as woman from right from under him. And while he was fighting the country, took the man's woman. So when you guys hear that, those stories of what's that, Jody got your girl and gone, or that Jane Doe letter, that's a true thing. That actually happens to military people. Demetra's dad went and took this man's woman, and the rest, as they say, is history, as they say. But yes, again, if you don't like it or you don't like it, if the military is something that you're wanting to do, we are in a national disgrace. Over 1 million soldiers and sailors out there on the streets. We can't solve homelessness or anything for the veteran, but we can solve it for the illegals and anybody else that comes to this country. It's a national disgrace. I agree with that. But at the same time, I'm going to say this. If you live in a community where all there is violence and there's no opportunity and there ain't this and there ain't that, blah, 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 and your kid's looking at gangs and jail and all of this, I'm praying for you. But at the same time, if a young person is thinking about going into the military, don't discourage them. Don't, especially if they come from that type of environment. Don't discourage them, because I've seen so many young people that will sit in my city right here. They will sit in this city long enough to get enough convictions to where they can't even join the military. And by the time they mature and they say, I'm thinking about going to the military won't even accept them. And I've never seen a gang put money on a person's books or take care of that person's family while the guy's locked up for the gang. So I'm not saying the military is for everybody, but I'm just saying I don't think it's right to discourage somebody who wants to take a better opportunity and a better chance to get something out of their life rather than just sitting there in a situation to where, nothing's happening. And I'll give a better example than that. I myself, I come from parents that were like, hey, you're graduated. You got to go. You got to go do something with yourself, right? And my parents could have paid for my education, but they knew I would have just pissed that off because that was my thing, right? You got to help yourself first and prove yourself. I wanted to get it on my own. So I don't owe anybody, much less my parents. Why would I want to put a burden on my parents to send me to school? I'm talking about my parents. I'm not talking about your parents. So I chose, my mother is in the Army. My dad is in the Marine Corps. My brother's in the Marine Corps, is in the Air Force now. I come from a military family. Hey, I'm going to go get the education. Demetria, did I go get the education?
Donovan's got 12 degrees.
I went and got the education. But at the same time, I had to pay the price, and I did pay the price. So what I'm saying is, a lot of us will sit there and listen to Uncle Rufus, who had a bad experience from Vietnam, and, oh, don't go into the military, whatever. I get it. But for a lot of us, that is our only way out. It's our only way to get an opportunity and to do these things. So I would strongly suggest, Demetria knows me, I will not tell a young person to enlist. I would tell them, go to college, get into ROTC if the military is your thing, and come in as an officer off the top. Don't enlist, because that's what I did. That's what I would tell them. But somebody's got to fight for the freedoms that anybody to object, to not want to serve, to go to these countries that have dictators, and you go there and you talk about you're not going to serve, you're not going to do this. You'd be in a prison somewhere. Nobody knows where you're at. Somebody has to pay for these freedoms. Maybe it's not you, maybe it's not this. But again, it takes a lot of, what's the movie Starship Troopers? If you ever read the book based on Starship Trooper, I forgot the name of it. And again, a lot of people don't read. In Starship Troopers, remember in the movie, if you saw the movie, there were certain type of citizens. To get full citizenship, you had to serve in the military. I believe we should have that here. There should be different tiers of citizenship. To vote in that movie, you had to be you had to have served in the military. If you didn't want to serve, fine, you're not a full citizen. But the freedom that these people give you guys, you should appreciate it. You should appreciate it, because somebody has to do it. If you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? Now that we got these sleeper cells in the country, who do you think you're going to call to get these sleeper cells out of here? It's going to be military, paramilitary people to get these people out. And you got to remember, a lot of your people in the military, in the police departments, have what? Military backgrounds. A lot of them have that experience. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. So again, if you enjoy your freedom and you enjoy your macchiatos and all that other stuff, you better thank a damn veteran.
Well, I think it better, but get them white folks to do it. That's what freedoms are we fighting for as Black people in America? We've been fighting for freedom since they kidnapped us and put them on those plantations. So what more fighting do we need to do? Hell, they say this ain't our country, right? We ain't got no rights. So what the hell am I fighting for? Let the people who gonna benefit from this country the most fight for it. But like old school, I'm with you. Why don't we tell these young kids to get a trade? We need plumbers, electric. Wait, hold on, because
I agree.
We need some help. Hold on, let me try.
Yes. Do you guys know the biggest vocational school in the world is the military? A lot of Black folks came out of World War II with trades because the military trained them to do that. A lot of them came out of Vietnam because the military trained them to do so. I could not have been a pilot because I didn't have that type of money if it wasn't for the military. So again, go ahead, continue.
Why don't we tell these young kids to get a trade? We need plumbers, electricians, carpenters, and auto mechanics. You know why? Because we condition. And this book was written in early 1900s, I believe it was. And that's what he was talking about. So I'm with you on that. My daddy, hey Andre, how you doing? My daddy, he always said, if you got a mind and you got hands, you should always eat. But you ain't got, I'm just saying for me, what I was taught, you ain't got to pick up arms to go help white people do for other people that they won't do for you, right? There's things that we can do. And we're descendants of pyramid builders. We ain't got to go help these white folks go doing all this unaliving of people all over the world. But we got skills. We know how to do things, right? We can teach our children a trade. We're not defeated. We got a whole lot of skills and things. We need to tap back into those things. But, you know, if you want to go to the military, great, that's for you. But there's other avenues to do that. But I will not send my daughter or anybody I know if I got any, not that I have a choice. She's grown, right? But I'm not telling my daughter that you need to go to the military to make a way out. Is it nice to get benefits? Yes, it's all that is true, you know. But there's a lot of people who are successful that never went to a military and they made a way out of nowhere, whatever. But nah, you know, them people don't deserve no more black blood in this soil or anybody else's soil. Period. That's just me.
See, now I agree with you, and that's a good way to come at it. But at the same time, we would have had skin in the game if we had representatives that would actually go up there and represent us and do the business that they're supposed to be doing. But what have we been getting? We've been getting people with no military background going up there, enriching themselves, enriching their families, and with the BS. This is why black people continue to lag behind. Look at our so-called representatives or leaders or whatever you want to call them that keep misleading us. And we're talking about the civilian class. Let's not even talk about the military class. Let's talk about the civilians that are supposed to, I'm reclaiming my time. Oh, I'm Kamala Harris. I'm not going to do anything that's going to benefit specifically black people. No, let's be clear. No. Look at the representation on the civilian side that isn't taking us to the promised land. Even MLK, in his final days, realized he led his people into a burning building. And it was after he spoke out against the Vietnam War and how they were drafting all these black and brown boys to go over there to do the dirty fighting. So, there's a lot of this. I don't disagree with what you're saying. However, the military isn't the problem. The military is the solution to our national objectives.
Well, when you say our national objectives, whose national objectives?
Well, whatever the national objectives are. Like I said, we're not the military. The white man's military is doing what they're doing.
Are Black Americans included in that? Or?
Well, yeah, we're in the military. So yeah, so we're out there doing. I'm not saying we don't control anything. That's my point. You had a black president who was doing exactly what Trump is doing. And I didn't hear not one black person or black representative go up against Barack Obama when he was bombing in Syria and taking over Libya. And I'm not defending Trump. I'm just saying you had a black president that did the damn exact same thing. And I didn't hear anybody talk about, blacks shouldn't join the military. As a matter of fact, blacks were joining the military at a pretty high clip during that time.
Well, I don't care if it was Obama, his mama, and the drama. Okay, I don't care what president is serving. I never thought or saw the need to go to the military or any of that other stuff. My daughter, in fact, did take the ASVAB test, and she did very well. But
why is she taking the ASVAB test? She should have been taking the AFOQT, the officer's test. But see, they don't tell you that.
Well, she took that when she was. She took it in school, and they said she could have been a pilot. So she took it when she was in high school, and avid and all that. So
no. The ASVAB has nothing to do with piloting. Only the AFOQT could do that.
Well, maybe that's the test she took. I'm not sure which one it is, but nevertheless, you can come on and play with me. My daughter's smart. And Scoop, thank you so much. It says Desert Storm. It says Desert Storm had almost every home in Moreno Valley. New homes up for sale with HUD stickers, even Hidden Springs. Unfortunately, I couldn't get one.
Yeah, well, the thing is that's because the bases had closed. So, and a lot of those homes were owned by military people in the area. So, and we're still trying to recover. Yeah,
and Andre says I push trays and carts to my son and younger family. Yeah, we're very industrious people. I'm not knocking anybody who's gone to war or anything. I have my ex-boyfriend, my high school sweetheart. He didn't die in war, but he was in the Navy. But he did unfortunately pass away. So I know, like I said, I know a lot of people who went. I'm not saying it's wrong for anybody. I just, I was taught differently. So is it our duty to? No, it ain't our duty to protect this country. This country ain't protecting us. Why is that our duty? See, I think we got to unlearn the things we sell each other. Now, I get the white people talking about, yes, it's our country, it's our duty. Yeah, y'all go do all of that, right? Because this country ain't going to, look at you crazy when you come back in your military. But us, we still fighting for respect. So, yeah, you fight with, you protect what's going to protect you until the United States government starts protecting Black Americans. Hell, we can't even get a specific hate crime bill, but we talking about going to pick up arms. For what?
See, we're on the same page. That's what I'm saying. It's the civilian black leadership that keeps misleading. And Todd Hinton, longtime listener, good to see you, brother. No, because them Iranians ain't never called me nigga. And let me tell you something. You don't know that for a fact because their culture puts blacks at the bottom. Go look it up.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just, like I said, and then I hear what you're saying about the black misleadership, but that's part of the problem too. Why we need them to lead us? They're never going to lead us nowhere we want to go. Right. So we need to stop focusing on them and build for ourselves, do what we got to do. But black misleadership, nah. But I'll be damned if well, I'm too old, thank God. Right. But would pick up arms or any of that for this country. America ain't never loved no black folks. Never. But yet I'm supposed to go and then too, if you paying attention, why I'm gonna go get involved in a war that they jumped off, right? And they didn't think it was gonna jump off, and they was told to leave them people alone, and you've been messing with everybody all over the earth. And I'm supposed to, what am I protecting? It seemed like to me, America need to mind this business because they nosy and can't mind their business, and they want people resources. They want everybody to go fight to go pillage and plunder other people's countries. There's no honor in that. It'd be different like if they was doing something over here, dropping bombs. Okay, even with that, I'm not going. But I'm just saying we going over there because Trump and them can't leave people alone. Where's the honor in going over there fight? What are we really protecting? How are we protecting ourselves against something that wasn't messing with us in the first place?
Absolutely. Facts Not Feelings says, I don't recall Iranian Persians holding black slaves. Please go look up the history of Persia. What you just said, and Facts Not Feelings, you've been with us a very, very long time, is not factual. You're saying something that because you don't recall it, doesn't mean it didn't happen. Go read the history of Persia, and you will find out that they were very complicit in the slave trade.
Yeah, and in closing, I want to read this. Client says, must read Christopher Jordan Dorner's manifesto as a must read, especially for FBA veterans and citizens, because another civil war is coming soon. We need to be ready as a people or have no chance at all. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important that we should learn how to defend ourselves. Like I said, when I be in the gym back in the day, I was in the gym because I was trying to be cute. But now I'm in the gym because I might have to be running through some jungles or some brushes of Houston, or I don't know, figure out how to survive. But we should all learn survival skills anyway, whether we in the bushes or the jungles of Vietnam or wherever it is, there's a storm. We should learn how to protect ourselves anyway. That's just a common sense thing. How will you survive if it goes down here? And it's not if, it's when. If you believe that America is falling as Babylon did, it's not if, it's when. You're going to have to learn that being cute, that the hair, the eyelashes, and the BBLs, that's it, unless you're going to, use your BBL for bulletproof vests or something. I don't know. At the end of the day, you're going to need to learn how to survive. See, it's fun and games turning up and all this other stuff. But then when it comes down to it, a lot of these men, they may or may not want to help you. I'm just speaking as a woman. See, I know how to protect myself. My daughter does too, right? We're very crafty, resourceful sisters. We got to be, okay? And I had a really good daddy who did not raise no punks, boys or girls, okay? Like I said,
again, it all goes back to the fact that you guys are readers.
Yeah, but I've been driving cars since I was 11 because my daddy was a mechanic, and when his assistant wasn't there, guess who was gonna drive the car? A child, big old Cadillacs, and you better not wreck them customer cars. You know what I'm saying? So that's the upbringing I had. Like I said, I learned how to swim. My daddy threw us in the pool. He was like, you will or you won't. And later on, my mama did give us regular swimming lessons, but that's the kind of upbringing I had, right? You learn on the fly how to survive. So we should learn how to do those things anyway. I'm just saying. And if you're not teaching your children how to survive, that's a you problem. But a lot of adults don't know how to survive either. What I was gonna do? That's why I said watch the movie Leave the World Behind. That is an excellent movie because like Kevin Bacon said, you knew this day was coming. What have you been doing? Oh, y'all was down there. Y'all was, y'all was partying, thought everything was funny until it wasn't. Here you come knocking on my door offering me money. What can I do with your money? Ain't no money being spent around here. What can you buy with it? So
right now, I mean, I know we're talking about it, but still look at what's going on in the world. We don't know what's going to happen. Is this thing going to expand or not? Right now in my house, in my closet door next to the front door, I have my go thing. I got my Red Dawn equipment ready to go. Red Dawn 1984. I'm heading up to the mountains if it kicks off the way it's supposed to kick off, and I've got everything I need. What about you? What about you?
Yeah, Cynthia says it's okay for us to be on the front line protecting and fighting for illegal immigrants who living free off our backs while using our benefits and resources. Now let them do it. See, when Black America stops showing up for the foolishness and start saying no, then people will rearrange their understanding. But if we keep showing up, well, I got to, well, you know, then they're going to keep on bumping our heads. My mama said, when you see a fool, you bump his head, right? So we keep being a fool and keep getting our heads bumped. No, let them go fight. Let all the people they getting all the resources to get sued and booted, you know, like they did in Ukraine. To the African immigrants that was over there in Ukraine, they forced them, in Russia and all these other countries forced them to be in the war. They were like, well, you over here getting our resources, so you need to sue them boot up. I don't think it's right that they did them like that, but they did them like that. So people coming over here getting all theirs, you put some of them boots on, homie. Fight for yours.
Yes, and again, with what you guys are seeing on the news and on YouTube every day, when I look at Black people that are still more concerned about nails, cars, the BS trips and stuff, and they're not prepared, I have neighbors right now in my cul-de-sac that think I'm going to use my weapons to defend their family. With what's going on in the world today, for you, especially if you're you ladies out there that are unprotected, and you could do it all, whatever, for you not to be prepared, just in case. It's ridiculous right now. But these are going to be the same people. I'm waiting for the government. I sheltered in place. Demetra, if everything kicked off and everything's going up, Donovan is going to be out there heading Red Dawn up into the hills, powing, and whatever I got to do to get to where I need to go. Simple as that.
And I'm going to be right with you. Where are we going? Okay. I got some boots and all of that I could put on.
Wake Island. We're going to head out to Wake Island and then from there into the Philippines.
I'm gonna wear my high heel boots. Where are we going? That guy from Texas, you said I go camping and hiking. Yeah, my family, we did that all the time, camping and hiking. I tell you what, I'm in a sense a nature girl. I just ain't nature out here in Houston because of the mosquitoes. They like me a little too much. But yeah, I used to hike for exercise, sometimes twice a day. Right. So, and Truth Hurts says, when a white person asks me, so what do you think about the U.S. going into World War III and enlisting? My reply will be, I don't know. What do you think about Foundation of Black Americans getting reparations for slavery? Come on now. They're going to be, and then that's when you be like, well. Same answer.
And again, and the reason why I bring up Red Dawn and stuff, as a aviator, we have to go to SEER school. For those of the guys that know what SEER school is, it's survival school, right? And I learned so much just going to survival school. But before survival school, my mom was a country girl. She taught me how to fish, how to do this, how to do that, how to do.
Still out there crabbing. I'm like,
yeah, she's still crabbing until it's very day.
His mom's still out there crabbing, like by herself, crabbing. That means you getting the fish and the crab and. Mama, sit down. His mom about that life for real.
but again. The SEER school training, I would have never gotten that on my own. The military taught me how to do that. I can take a piece of bark and make it a gourmet meal.
Yeah. I thank God for Ramadan, right? I'd be like, I ain't got to eat much. African Native says, hide at Mar-a-Lago, you stupid, or at the Trump Towers. Brother Samuel says, we believe that we who declare ourselves to be righteous Muslims should not participate in wars which take the lives of humans. We do not believe this nation should force us to take part in such wars where we have nothing to gain from it unless America agrees to give us necessary territory wherein we may have something to fight for. Boom. There you go. So anyway, listen, the sun has gone down here. I can officially eat. As y'all saw, I drank me a little water. I need to catch up on my water intake. It has been a pleasure. I will see y'all tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time on the African Diaspora News Channel, where we're going to have a great conversation. And I'll see y'all tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time. And listen, Walter says when he gets back up and running, he's going to come back on here on Wednesdays.
Yes, and before we go, we will have a special guest next week. Tamara Johnson Shealy will be back on the show. Kind of intro us on that.
Yeah, she's got an announcement she's going to make. She's a reparations crusader. She's boots on the ground, and she likes to come every once in a while and give us an update. But she's going to really give us an update. Some things that she really couldn't talk about before. I'll wait and let her talk about it. But she's going to talk about it. She has a hell of a story to tell, so we're going to actually do that on the podcast. And then, release it so we can really have a great conversation with her. But it's one that you do not want to miss, as she is about that life too. Trying to get descendants of slavery here in America, reparations. And so, yes, Ramadan Kareem, Brother Samuel, to anybody who's out there observing Ramadan, I will say I've gotten quite used to it. It doesn't, I don't feel them hunger pains anymore. I'm like, oh, it's time to eat. Okay. So anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Missy Boy rather says, can we have a poll if it's about Black Americans enlisting? I think most people said as guess a lot of people said no, but some people said yeah, sure. It should be. I think it's really a personal decision, whatever your belief systems are.
I will say this, and I may be done with it. Stop thinking the enlisted mindset. If you are going to join the military, you want to come in as an officer. Think officer, not enlisted.
Will do. I want to be a 5-star general if I got to go up in there. Listen up, boys. Drop them.
Then you got to be an officer. That's the only way you're going to do it. And a lot of people don't know that there's two sides to it. A enlisted recruiter will not tell you anything about the officer side. If you want to be an officer, you have to talk to an officer recruiter. A lot of people don't know that. The enlisted guys say, oh yeah, you could do this. And in time you can go and do this. And you got all this other stuff. No, if you want to come in as an officer, I used to get mad, Demetra, when I would see HBCU grads enlisting. They have a 4-year degree already in their hand, and some fool talked them into enlisting. It's incredible.
Yes, indeed. So we'll continue to have more conversations about this. But anyway, y'all come and see me tomorrow at African Diaspora News Channel, 11 a.m. Central Time, and come back at 5 p.m. Central Time, where we're going to continue to have all these great conversations. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all dearly. In the meantime, y'all, keep your head on swivel, pay attention to what's going on. Even though these issues don't really pertain to us, we should still stay abreast of current affairs, world affairs, because you just never know when you need to know something. Anyway, peace.